This story is from our old campaign, Immortals, which I've talked about a few times before. This really long campaign that spanned over from one of, that just kind of continued in my world to newer characters that we played for a long period of time. And at this point, the party is pretty high level. I'm here today with Tyler, who is playing Thenhala, his half-elf ranger.
Half-elf ranger. I think at that point I was already starting to cross the druid or thinking about it.
You were thinking about it, you haven't done it yet. I think you guys were like level 11.
Yeah, something like that.
Funny thing, we actually recorded this game, and it's privated on Arcane Arcade. Maybe I'll have to dig it up and find it, because this story was actually recorded back when we were like, let's stream games, guys, but we had 35 cents in our bank account, so we just had these shitty cameras and a really crappy setup. Yeah, it was bad.
I remember that we put the webcams onto turned upside down side tables.
Oh yeah, and I had a little bed hook thing that you used to hold your phone next to your bed, and I used that to hold the camera. Mm-hmm. Yeah, great, good times. There's a reason why those are privated. So.
Oh, Phil.
Hello.
Sorry, that's rude to you. Just there's lots of humans in this city. What can I do you for?
Couple of things.
Is that a dragon?
This is indeed a dragon.
You're level 11. You're a ranger. Yeah. You're an Unearthed Arcana ranger, the revised ranger, of course, because we're not monsters. And you also had a dragon companion, which was your animal companion. His name was Nar, and
we messed with some of the rules a little bit because I really wanted
a wormling, and we never had the animal companion for the whole time, and I was just like, what the fuck, why don't you have this? You're somewhat underpowered anyways. Your constitution's like a -1 or 2, and you literally at level 20 had 40 hit points.
69. Exactly 69.
So you can imagine what you had
20. At level 11 I had 30.
But the rest of the party's in 80s and 90s. You're like, I have 30 hit points.
Yeah.
So
I was a twig.
The party.
I'm still a twig.
The party of Immortals, everybody's playing their different characters. I'm not going to go into detail about them. The party has to travel across this land to find this rite called the Rite of the Immortals to become immortals, because I really liked that word, so I just named everything after it. And they had to go through a city, and they had to cross a really big ocean in order to get to the next continent. So they're at this dock city, and in this dock city...
What was the name of the city again?
It was called Watergate or something.
Something like that.
Waterdeep, Watergate, Water something. I don't know. If D&D land, you're...
Watermarch?
Yeah, it was Watermarch.
There we go.
Watermarch. They're in Watermarch. Definitely not Waterdeep. And they're in the city, and the city has been overtaken by this other faction that I created called the Shiroga, which were kind of based off of feudal Japan. Yeah. And they had overtaken the city, and they were followers because there's this war going on.
They were hardcore followers of Bahamut.
Bahamut, yes, the Platinum Dragon. So they were all about justice, and they had a lot of very strict laws and things that you couldn't do in their cities. So once the party already knew about them, like, these guys are dicks. So once they show up, they're like, fuck. So they are not happy to see these people. So they step in,
and some of them were some of us had sided with other factions in the war. So we were some of us were wanted.
Yeah, like Colton, who was a part of the people they were fighting, the Crimson Enclave. So y'all were hiding things and we're not here. And it was a thing. So they had taken over the city. So they had some bunch of side quests to do, and one of them was this woman who had found them and was like, "Hey, my husband has gone missing. I was wondering if you could find him." And the party's like, okay, we can go try and find him. They're like, he's probably dead because it's wartime. But they were like, his ship it went out to sea, and I haven't found him since. So the party's like, we could probably find some clues if we go out to that ship that's sunk out in the bay. So the party's like, okay, we can go check this out. So the party has this grand idea to split the party like idiots. Guys, it still happens. Nobody learns. You never do this. You metagame. Find a way to not split the party. It's an awful idea. And where stories like this happen, so maybe it's not that kind of an idea.
Exactly. You don't get stories like this if you don't split the party.
I mean, this one ends with you dying. So you guys have to head out into the ocean. And so there's only a few people that can head out into the ocean. Ashkari, who's Grace's character, uses blood magic, and blood magic in my world does not work in water, so she's like, nope. Eugene, Spencer's character, can't really do anything out in water, as she's playing a rogue who's like a monster hunter. She's like, nope, I'm out.
A draw rogue.
Mallory, Colton's character, can't do much either because her primary use of spells are fire, so she can't do much. So you've got Logan's character, Chai Li, who's a monk, who can run on water and is also a monk, and you, who has a dragon. So we're like, okay.
A bronze dragon at that.
Which are like native to water.
Native to water. And I had the spell water breathing. So I could easily go
So easy enough for you guys to just go, we're just going to scout and try to find this dude.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in my notes, I'm like, there's an encounter in here, so they head out. You're like flying along the water, and Charlie's like running on the water. And as you guys start making your way over, there's a ship sunk way out in the middle of the ocean. So you go down, you cast water breathing, and Chai Li can breathe underwater for some reason.
I don't know.
If I can remember. But he's able to breathe underwater.
We have
water breathing can affect up to 6 people.
Oh,
okay.
shit, so you have
Then I cast it on
cast
him.
on everybody.
Nice.
Nara can already water breathe, so
Yes.
you guys head down and you're like, you find the ship, and as you find the ship, the water around you begins to swirl and move, and then begins to attack you, and there's water elementals in the ocean, the worst shit ever. So, not only is underwater fighting fucking awful in D&D, see every game ever where there's an underwater encounter and everybody, never is there an underwater encounter and everybody's like, that was fun. It's always like, fuck that. Like, why did that have to happen? So, the party, the Chai Li and Thanela are underwater, and Chai Li is punching the water, which is interesting. And there's like 3 of them, I think. So, Tyler, it's your turn. Yeah, explain yourself on this one. This is a real funny one.
But I had the great idea. Oh, he could use his breath weapon against these guys. It's electricity. It's lightning breath.
And it's really great.
Underwater!
You were like, I'm gonna use my breath weapon. And I'm like, and I look over at everybody and everybody's like, oh, and I was like, okay. And everybody's like, shit. And you...
To give me credit, I don't think you said, are you sure?
No, I really wanted it to happen. It was really funny. And it was just
So
like...
it's not my fault.
The explosion of lightning flies out of Nar's mouth and just radiates around everything.
I don't think you let us have a save.
The important part is that Thanela, with her 30 hit points, died.
Dead. Gone.
Dead. I think you... Did you insta-die, or did you fail your death saves?
Colin's saying insta-die, so...
No, I don't think you did.
I don't know. I think I may have failed may have failed my death
Failed
saves.
your death saves. Might have been it. Regardless, she died. And
gone.
began to float up to...
Well, Nard... So what happened in the next turn is Nard noticed that she wasn't breathing, grabbed her, and then took off and started flying back to town.
Yes.
Because we were outside of town, so...
So Charlie's by himself, and
Yeah.
luckily he fights off all of the...
And he punches the ocean enough and kills it.
He killed Chai Li, the one who killed the ocean. He then goes into this little area of the ship, and just to finish off the quest, what had happened was there was the guy that they were looking for and a Shirogan soldier who had been living in like this weird magic air bubble that had been created underwater somehow. And he found them down there, and they like made up their differences and become friends. And Chai Li saves them both by putting them in his bag of holding. And getting them out because he couldn't carry both, so he's like, get in there. So he puts them in the bag of holding and then leaves and brings them back to the city. He's like, go, haha, and then he completes the quest. Meanwhile, Thanela's dying.
Not dying, dead.
Oh, that's right.
0.
Meanwhile,
Fail all
Thanela
death
is
saves.
dead. Everybody meets up at like the temple, and luckily, Jordan was there, I think?
Yes.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't, but his character was.
Grud was there.
Yeah.
His cleric of Morden, his dwarf cleric.
And life cleric of Morden, so.
The party brought up enough money that Eugene had to buy it, and like from that point on, Eugene was like, "You owe me 1,000 gold because we casted Revivify and brought you back to life."
Yep.
But from then on out, Thanela had a bit of a fear.
So I decided, since she died so crazy like that, the best way to play this off is first she had PTSD of fucking dying, but dying underwater. She now has a fear of water.
So from then on
Going
out,
underwater.
you had water breathing, but it was just...
Actually, I think it may have unprepared it and taken it.
Well, as rangers, you have to level up in order to... Oh no, is it like druid?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is, but all I know is I at least stopped using it.
And Nar, like, loved water still? Like,
Yeah.
he's like a water dragon,
Yeah,
but you were
so-
just like, nope.
Nope.
That's the story of how Thenhala contracted a fear of water by casting electricity from her dragon's mouth on herself. So great.